when you were first offered the job, you had an offer from New York and you had an offer here in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Were they paying you about this? Was the offer for about the same amount of money?
No, it was a different amount of money. And that kind of came into it as well. There was more money being offered in China because the job was a more prestigious level. The job in New York was almost like being a partner in a much smaller shop. And that kind of came into it as well a little bit, but the main thing was the adventure. The main thing was like, let's just see what happens, you know?
Well, what's the most surprising thing? I haven't been here for two years. You feel?
Wow. The most surprising thing was the lack of culture shock.
The lack of culture shock.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was expecting it to be like, I was expecting to feel really uncomfortable, like really grossed out or whatever, but I still haven't come to that point because I think although there are certain things in China which are very different, it's not that different.
Yeah. Well, I've said this many times on this show. I've had more culture shock moving from New York to Los Angeles than I did from moving from the United States to China.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe it's because I was expecting it. Is that an expectation thing? You're expecting it to be really different, so you're kind of, your bar is raised up really high, and then you get here and you're going, oh, there's McDonald's and there's Domino's, and you know I can get a beer in a bar, and it's like, you know, that's fine.
What did you think you were getting yourself into before actually coming here?
What did I think? I read a lot about, you know, Chinese culture, Chinese customs, like the green hat thing, not giving anyone not giving anyone a clock, not giving anything in groups of 4.
戴绿帽子.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's good.
and like, not giving anyone a clock.
Don't send shoes as gifts either.
Shoes. What's the shoes one?
It's like telling them to leave, like to die.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, don't give
I hadn't heard
shoes
that
as
one.
gifts. Yeah.
I was the green hat, clocks, and things in 4s. That was
Yeah.
there was a thing.
Four is because four the Chinese is 4, which sounds like 死, which is the Chinese
death.
word for die.
Yeah, right.
It's funny that like out of all the things that you pick out about China, those are the things you brought up.
Yeah, when he said like I did my research, I was thinking like he was like thinking like more societal, like kind of like
Guanxi
deeper things.
or
Yeah.
familial.
He's like yeah, but the green hat thing.
I was like, well, yeah, I mean, the Guanxi, I understand kind of what Guanxi means now. I kind of didn't really then, because I think what I tended to do, and China is such, to somebody from the West who's never experienced China as a country, seems like a very alien kind of place. And really, when you start hearing words like Guanxi and then reading about some of the customs, you start to think, wow, it's really different. It's like completely different from what my experience is. And you know, what if I make a mistake? What if I do things wrong? But really, the longer I spend here, yes, there are still some things that are very alien and unusual to me. But, you know, relationships, people, being a good person, you know, that's kind of universal. I mean, that doesn't change. And the things that I found is that there's a lot of misunderstanding, I think, about Chinese people in the rest of the world. I think the common conception is that Chinese people are rude, right? They shove and they do this and that's. And it's like, but if everyone's doing it, it's not rude, right? And everyone in China does it because that's just the way people are. They're not being rude. They're just like, I need to go there. You're in my way, so I'm going to go through you rather than around you.
Yeah.
You know, it's not rude. It's just life, you know? But when you transpose that to somewhere like the UK, where everyone's like very conscious of their personal space and very like, oh my goodness, they're being so aggressive. So, you know, you just, people, it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
It's a misunderstanding. So, I was trying to think what else I found out about, or I was expecting from China. Oh yeah, banquets with the big lazy Susan and like gambes and all the rest of it, and how important it was to be drunk, like in a particular kind of way.
What, like drinking baijiu?
Yeah. What's the drunk courage thing? What's the like? There's a word, I can't remember it now. There's a word for somebody that gets drunk but doesn't lose their shit and still is kind of.
I don't know that word.
I
I
think-
lose my shit, so I don't
You
know
do?
what you're talking about.
There's a
I
word.
might know what you're
There's
talking
some
about.
of
I
these
just can't think
words
of it.
like about, is he a good drinker or is he the kind of drinker who's just going to puke everywhere or fall over and make a mess of themselves, or is he going to be the kind of person who still holds it together and can keep going, all night? But I still haven't been to a banquet 2.5 years.
You're
in.
like, I'm ready for it. I'm doing my research.
I did my research.
Like
I was at the
practicing?
Gambay
You were
and
like
the-
preparing for months, training for months.
exactly. And I
know?
was like, how low should I put in my glass? And it's like, and that,
It's like a Rocky montage. Dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun, dun,
exactly,
dun,
yes.
dun, 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 dun. You're like preparing.
exactly. Yeah.
Now 2 years later, you're still waiting for the opportunity.
Somebody, please invite me
Yeah,
to a
please.
banquet.
Well,